Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Billy Spitfire Unlimited.
John Esterly with Rare Buzz Effects.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Evek. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled that you're listening to our show.
Happy.
We got a full house tonight, y'all.
Yeah.
Whee!
I need my elbow room.
It's going to be super fun because
For your large
joining this full house of these four goons, we've got a gentleman on the other line. Who are you, sir?
Mike Trombley, Native Audio.
Yes. Mike is back.
I remember Mike.
Mike's got a lot to talk about, you guys. We were
He's
hoping
going
he
to
was
talk
gonna
about
be
us guys.
in the show at the studio today.
Yeah.
With Micah, but there's a reason he isn't, and we're going to get into that too.
We'll talk about that.
At which point, you two guys, it would have been troublesome because you just would have been over in there in the corner, and we wouldn't have really been able to hear you at all.
Yeah, that would have been us
We
in the
reserve
corner
the good seats for
in the spotlight.
I would have been doing something productive.
Yes. Anyhow, so thank you for joining us for this episode. I think this is 402.
402?
402. That's correct.
Oh, my God.
Yes, very, very exciting. A quick bit of announcements and stuff on here. Actually, you know what? If you've just been joining, you're like, wait a minute, 402. What are all the other ones about? Tony, what is this all about?
Todd, we talk about gear. We like to talk about boutique gear. More importantly, we like to talk to the people who make this boutique gear. And that's things like guitars and amps and pedals, accessories, pickups, you name it. If you can do something with a guitar on it, whatever, that's what we talk about. And we learn about things. We do these 101 episodes, the occasional 102 episodes when we go advanced. But, we learn about different brands. Oh, we talk to authors, too. Authors of great books and photographers. And if someone is in the musical community, maybe it's somebody on YouTube doing demos. We talk to them too. And it's the stuff that we love, and we know that a lot of people out there love, and that's why we do the Guitar Knobs podcast for more than 400 episodes. We've done it. That's the recipe.
That's great, dude. I appreciate that. That's a brochure.
And
right
we all owe it to Todd.
Okay, that's enough.
He's the guy.
Disingenuous bastard. Okay. So now everybody knows what we're doing.
It's disingenuous.
Sure. That too. You're right. Okay. Let me get over to, we got I wanted to share some mail. Mail
call.
This is from our longtime supporter, Martin Cliff.
Ah, yes.
Way over in Bucharest.
Is he back in Bucharest?
He didn't leave.
Well, no, he went to the UK for a while.
Well, anyways, he's been all over. He's in Bucharest.
Okay.
Okay, so Martin.
Or no, was it Bucharest that he was before?
He was in Hong Kong. He was all over the place.
He was, yeah.
He's in Bucharest, Romania. Yeah,
They have some good sauerkraut over there, right?
I imagine so. You look it up. Yeah. So Martin says,
Happy New Year.
Hey guys, Happy New Year. Firstly, massive congratulations on reading the Big 400. That's epic. I probably wasn't around for the first 40 or so, but you've been there ever since, man. But it's been a fun journey ever since I found you guys. Loved the tremolo episode. Really interesting to hear the different takes on the pedals. I've only ever owned two. The Sewer Jackrabbit does just about everything I would want a simple 4-knob package.
How did you say that?
Sure.
Yeah. That's not how you said it, but that's the way it's said.
Sewer.
Sewer. It's a sewer. You get it out at the sewer gas.
And the Strymon Flint is, of course, a classic utility pedal. Continuing to make music here in Bucharest, working on my third album in 3 years, but who knows where the road ahead leads. What I do know is that I'm inherently...
The road ahead leads to Transylvania.
I'm imminently due to receive new custom Mike Lull M5 bass. Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which I'm very excited for, he says. In keeping with the spirit of minimalism, it'll mean I'm moving on my P bass, moving that on. Also, a Mike Lull 5-string, though not a custom. But I'm okay with that. I'm sure Spencer would be an awesome guest if you had him on your show. Well, I guess we can look into that. Well, thank you, Martin, for sharing that. It was great to hear from you. Thank you for your longtime support. We love getting messages. Just to tell us what's up, guys.
That's
all
cool.
you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of projects for him, and I'm glad that he's.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's in a happy place.
He loves the guitars. So, with that, let's find out what's going on in our music world. We're going to kick it off with Tanya Balansky and then check in with Mike Trombley of Native Audio.
Okay, Todd. Mm-hmm. Well, as you probably know, there was a guitar show here in Columbus this weekend. And I got some really cool stuff.
Yes, you did.
I didn't sell an awful lot of stuff.
I did.
But I got, well, yeah, you always do. But there was a guy came around. He had, a bag of stuff and a guitar. He says, "Do you take trades?" I said, "Well, depends what it is." And first he pulls out a
Careful.
well, he has in a bag, and he pulls out this pedal, and it's not just any pedal. It's a box, and I recognized the box instantly. So he has this Dr. No Necro Fuzz Icon. This is the book edition, so it's actually like a fuzz icon.
It's Necrofuzzicon. It's
Necrofuzzicon.
Necronomicon. It's the fuzz version.
Necrofuzzicon.
Oh, I feel so embarrassed.
That's fine. It's okay to be embarrassed
Sewer.
when you're corrected.
Yeah, it's like a sewer. I bet John Sewer would make something like this. Anyhow, he takes this out of the box. I mean, actually, he didn't even open the box. I said, "Yes, I can take that in on trade." And then he showed me the guitar, and it was okay. It was like an Earl Slick Framus something or other.
You already have one of those, don't you? Yeah, you got one of the Earl Slicks. I
Probably do.
Silver
I don't
one.
know. I stopped.
Yeah, I remember that.
I stopped counting. Anyhow, this is a really. I mean, we've had Dr. No on twice now.
Yeah.
Episode 98, which is a little dicey to listen to because we had
pass on that one.
Some very bad connection issues. But he was also on episode 315.
That was a great one.
That was an excellent one.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know who Dr. No is, he is in the Netherlands, right?
He's in France now.
Oh, he's in France.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from there.
Okay. And he has this whole persona that, he has, if you see any of his videos and demos and things, he's got like this latex mask on and a lab coat and stuff. Yeah. But he makes some incredibly cool products.
He's been doing kind of statement piece pedals for quite some time now.
And he does the turd like the turd fuzz, right?
Yeah, the turd fuzz
and
was
the skull fuzz.
And the skull fuzz.
Which you can get that now, and it's flocked. It's a flocked skull fuzz. That's crazy.
Yes. So the good thing is I got a pedal that I'm not a big fuzz guy, and this is a pretty over the top fuzz. It's a triple.
That's the last pedal on the planet that I would have thought you would have got.
I got it. Even if it sounded like a turd, it
won't.
Is so cool.
It's going to sound great.
No, it does sound good. But even if it did, I would get this just to have the way that it looks. I mean, it's just a cool thing.
It's
Dr.
the book
No.
of
And it's from Dr.
It looks like a book.
It's the Necrofuzzicon.
Which mountain?
As I was informed.
Book of spells.
Keep this on like a bookshelf.
You could, except the knobs would probably get in the way.
Yes.
Well, end of
You
the
could put it
bookshelf.
on a bookshelf.
You could. If you put it on the very end.
Yep.
Or you could have it face out.
Or you could have it face. I would probably face it out. And it came with puka shells.
Put it on one of those little.
I love
tripod
puka
things.
shells. And secondly, I picked. It's just really strange how I guess people are attracted Maybe I send off some vibe or something. Yeah. So there's this guy that he's
They're not attracted.
Well, no, maybe not. So a guy is walking around. He says, "Hey, do you buy pickups?" I said, "Well, it depends what pickup is. Well, let me see what you got." So he pulls out, and I know what this is, and I don't know if he knew what it was or not. Well, I guess he kind of said it's kind of like a P90. Well, it's actually a late 50s Gibson P13 pickup. So it's a metal enclosed, we'll call it a P90, but it's got a bump on the top, and then it's got the pole pieces actually stick up
Quite high.
a good eighth of an inch.
It's like a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, maybe a quarter of an inch. These are
need a new
really,
ruler.
these are really, and luckily a guy at my booth had a meter, and we checked it, and it's like 7.3, which is a respectable level for that type of pickup.
So what would this have come in, Tony?
Well, you see a lot of these more in like some Harmonies had these. I guess they were really meant to be like a lower end P90.
That's heavy.
Oh, it's a monster. But
It's really cool looking.
How would this even be mounted in the? I mean, I'm just thinking your action would have to be really, really high unless this is recessed down into the body.
And yeah, you would recess, and I think it was on a lot of arch tops. There's a version of this called a speed bump that doesn't have the pole pieces sticking through. And so Gibson was, back in the day, they were, in addition to building great guitars, they were also selling electronics to other companies. So I got it for a relative song. I was actually, after I bought it, I just looked up to see what some of these things are going. And I mean, they're going right now on eBay for between $300 and $500.
Holy macaroni!
Wow! I mean, and I'm my
and you only paid $600 for it.
Wow.
my spidey sense always.
That's
I'm
some
usually
kind of
right.
relative.
I mean, I kind of
rolling stone.
I knew that it was worth some money, and
It's too weird not to be.
yeah. Well, it's not that it's too weird.
I think it's weird.
That's
That's a subjective opinion, Tony.
okay, Todd. Jeez. So anyhow,
That's good.
a successful show.
Yeah.
If you think walking home with more things than you took with you is a success, and it is for me.
Excellent. Mike Trombley. You're still there,
Yeah.
right, buddy?
Yep, still here. The last couple of weeks have kind of just been cleaning out and fixing amps inside my shop. It's been a couple of years since I really kind of did some fine tuning, and with the holiday weeks and all that junk like that, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take this time and actually clean up the shop a little bit. So cracked open a bunch of my amps and just kind of serviced them. So bought a bunch of parts right before Christmas and got all the parts in, and then just kind of slowly started chucking away. And so like last week was kind of the final amp, and yeah, they all sound good, no noise, and just clean. So it feels good to have amps that you're going to plug in and it's not going to be buzzing or humming.
Humming and a buzzing.
Humming and buzzing. So yeah, that's kind of been the last couple of weeks, has just been kind of working through my collection and just kind of cleaning things up.
Excellent. That's a good thing to be able to do.
It's a nice thing to do at the first of the year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Billy, how about yourself?
Yeah, I went to the guitar show. I actually had some tables there, so I was buying and selling, mostly buying.
Hey, that's why we
I was trying to sell. It was pretty slow, but I did have a buddy who had made an incredible trade. And it turns out it was a 1969 Telecaster. 69 Telecaster. I've been looking for this guitar for like 40 years.
Yeah.
And
Specifically a 69 Telecaster.
well, it's the color combination.
Got it.
And it's the vintage,
It's the era.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I have a 72
So it could have been a
Strat.
68 or something.
It could have been a
and you would've been
68. It could have been a 73.
Yeah.
But right in there. But also, I wanted one that was lightweight, and most of those 70s tellies are pretty hefty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not want a 10-pound telly, and this one's probably, I don't know, around 8 pounds.
That's
maybe,
a nice weight.
Yeah, maybe less. I don't know.
And it's got just the right amount of aging on it.
It's got
my God.
so much good character love on it.
Yeah, mojo galore.
Yeah. Really, really cool. Great neck, too.
Yeah, great neck. It's just my dream guitar. When I got it, I literally just jumped up in the air and I raised my hand up like, yes.
That was one of my stage names, Mojo Galore.
Mojo.
Yeah. I believe it.
Which stage?
Mostly
Yeah.
galore. Okay.
Yeah.
My unconscious stage.
And then I also picked up a neck for my 70s Bronco. I have a Bronco with the tremolo, that
Black on
has
black,
the,
too, with white
recessed
pickups.
Cavity,
Really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we talked about that. I think that tremolo.
That's a beautiful guitar.
That's one of Leo's last tremolo designs for. I think it is the last tremolo design that he did for Fender before moving on to Music Man and G&L.
And it's so simple.
And it works.
And it works.
That's
It's cool.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
I always get
And you
a
can go
little-
up or down with it, It's
Help me
set
out
that
with
way.
I mean, Mike can jump in here too because
Yeah.
I think he knows what I might be asking, but help me and maybe others who I'm not as familiar with, like the Bronco and the Duosonic and stuff. But
Yeah.
well, like Mike's a Duosonic guy,
Yeah.
and
I love-
you're a Bronco
I
guy.
love the Duosonic.
What are the big differences?
Okay, so a Duosonic actually has a little bit different body. It's an offset, but it's just kind of shifted just a little bit, and it's a little bit it's kind of like
Longer?
maybe fatter on the back end.
Fatter on the back end. Okay.
But the Bronco is just like a Mustang. It's the outline of a Mustang.
the Mustang. So you got the Mustang, the Bronco, and the Duosonic.
Yeah.
Which, if you kind of lined them up, they're
pretty
close.
similar.
Yeah,
They're close.
but some of the Mustangs didn't some of the Mustangs have some contours? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Mike, what are
sometimes.
your thoughts on that?
But
Well, what's the scale on the Bronco?
I don't know the number,
That-
but it's shorter than the.
It's a 24.
I think they're all
Okay,
24.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've
So-
got a Mustang neck on there now, right?
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
those are 24s.
Yep. Just a single pickup, and the headstock looks kind of like fat, like those oversized Strat headstocks.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Yeah, the CBS.
It has that kind of just a
And
little bit extra hook
Is
on it.
the
you know?
Bronco and the Mustang? No, the Mustang's 2 pickups. Bronco's 1 pickup. Is a Duosonic always 2?
Duo Sonic.
I've seen.
Well, that's what I
yeah,
figured.
love-
Dude, looking at me like I'm a big dope.
And Music Master would only have one in the neck.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have a Music Master too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
say
you're right.
that's like one thing that I miss with the Duosonic is just having like a tremolo bar. I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
But also having the hardtail is nice because like my guitar never goes out of tune.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's a battle.
Give me 5 minutes with it.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, Mike's got this like little. I'm not like throwing shade on you, Mike. Here, by the way, I'm just disclaiming this. Mike's really tall, and he's got really long hands, long fingers. Like he could be
Like Nosferatu.
He was made for piano, but he's playing a kind of a small, little, tiny guitar.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet.
And he plays really well. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So last time I was on, I talked a little bit about the trades that I put together to get my new guitar, and kind of in that same vein, I've continued cleaning the workshop. I've been in my workshop space now for almost 5 years now.
Wow.
And just 5 years of accumulation, kind of finally taking an opportunity to clean through it. So sold a lot of parts and traded a lot of parts, and then here for probably the past month I've been going through kind of the collection of pedals that I've accumulated over these past 5 or 6 years, and trading a lot of them, selling many of them, and just kind of like clearing out the bulk, because a lot of these things I played them once and they've been on a shelf since. And I'm a big believer in getting things to the home where it's going to be best used. And it does no good for it to sit on a shelf in my shop when somebody else could be making music with it. So that's really been a lot of not only this last week, but probably the last 6 weeks is just kind of sifting through things. And as you would imagine, the workshop space has actually gotten pretty movable at this point. There's a lot more room in there, and not really part of this conversation, but we're getting ready for kind of a new rebranding launch later this spring. So just really getting kind of hitting reset on the whole operation.
Well, you have to come back for that.
Yeah, we will.
We might not be here, but you should come back anyway.
Well, you could at least get 405 episodes out.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to piggyback on to what one
Is
of
that
Tony's
everyone?
things were. Almost.
Is there anybody else?
I think we're done.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
4 on the floor.
So I drug out. I'm not a wah guy. It's not that I'm like, I don't like wah. It's just I've tried to incorporate it, and it just I don't know where
you
it
don't
would
have
fit
the
in.
foot coordination.
I definitely have the foot coordination, Tony. I do.
Wow.
It's just I don't have places where that's really made sense in a lot of the stuff I play. But
Maybe you should pick up like either trumpet or trombone and go.
actually, when I was living in California, we had a whole bunch of bands, and like they kind of broke up. But then we would all get together at this warehouse, and I actually started playing trumpet with my friend Todd, who's he's also named Todd, and he was kind of showing me the ropes on trumpet. But I also have my guitar, so I said, "What if we do this?" I was no joke. I was running a delay. and a wah through the trumpet mic.
Well,
it was awesome.
Do you realize that the wah was actually developed for a trumpet player, Clyde McCoy?
I remember us talking
Really?
about that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Did he take like a plunger, Lily, from like a toilet and put it over a speaker?
No, it was for miking, and you can use your foot instead of doing wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Oh, really?
So, anyways,
Hey, do you remember
That's cool.
the last NAMM show we went, or was it maybe it was the show before? There was the guy that had the shoes.
Yes, those
that
were ridiculous.
were the wah pedal shoes.
so ridiculous.
I love that one.
They were
No.
they weren't even
That's
shoes.
so
they were
cool.
Crocs.
No, they were Crocs.
They were
They're
Crocs.
Croc-Wahs.
No,
That's
that's
so
even
cool.
worse.
Crocs.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
no.
Well,
And you have to wear them with socks.
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I brought out my Dr. No guacamole,
I love the guacamole.
wow.
which is it's a beautiful pedal. You pick it up. It's one of those where you're like, it's so freaking awesome. Like it's just such a cool pedal. His design is just so great. But what's cool about this particular one is that it's actually on the gear. It's like a tooth gear. What's that called? Some technical terms. So it's not on a string, and it's just like that kind of business.
I would call it a ratchet gear.
Sure, ratchet gear, but it's got a 3-position switch. Yes. So if
Is that on a tooth gear too?
no, that is on a little knob. A rotary dial. Yes. I'm bringing out all the technical terms, but it's cool because it's made it's like a capacitor switch, so you can go, hey, if I'm playing my humbuckers, this kind of brings a little bit more high into it. If I'm playing a telly or strat, I can give it some more low end, and it's just kind of nice.
Huh.
Yeah. So there you go. Had a little bit of fun. I was just making
Which one
noise.
did you get?
I
Did you
didn't.
get the plain body one, or there's like a fuzzy looking one?
Yeah, he just re-released the guacamole and flocked it in the which is the fuzzy stuff. He released a handful of those, but then the one that I got was the painted one.
Okay.
Yeah, he
cool.
he sent that to me like a couple of years ago. It was great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Can we have an episode where they talk about how to do the flocking?
we did.
I
We
have a
flocked
Fender
the fezzes.
Bandmaster head that's flocked.
I can show you how to do that.
What?
I can. That's what we did our fez pedals in.
Are you flocking kidding?
What?
I'm not fucking kidding you.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Before we do, Tony, you know what you're going to need. I don't know if you have any of these.
What do I need, Todd?
Well, you might need some tour gear patch cables for the Necro Fuzzicon.
Why would I need? Why would I need?
to hook it up, to hook them to the other pedals, and to make it work?
It's got an unusual input and output jack location.
Yeah, they're on
I
the
don't
top.
know. They're on the top.
Yeah,
So,
But it's
and
a-
because
it's an
it's so
oddly
big,
shaped thing,
you're
yes.
going to need a little bit of a longer one, like maybe an 6 or an 8-inch one.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so you can get those at Tour Gear Designs, and if you load up your cart, which
Yeah.
I know you will,
I will.
you're going to use the coupon code Tour Gear. No, I mean, sorry, the coupon code the Guitar Knobs.
Abracadabra.
Yeah, which will get you the good stuff. 15% off.
15%
That
off.
is correct.
15%
The
off.
guitar
Yeah, so
knob.
go
Now-
over and do that.
I'm
Shipping's got to
I'm-
take some time, right?
Nope,
No.
it's super
Oh,
quick.
my goodness.
You know,
Super
they
quick.
they come out of Canada.
Okay.
And at least until January 20th, there will be no tariffs on things coming from Canada.
Hurry up and
So
get them.
get them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
gotta wait.
How about
Anyways,
it, Keegan?
thank you so much to Tour Gear for sponsoring our Four on the
So
Floor.
that's semi full of beer. We can bring it on down.
Yes.
All right.
Now, we don't have a Four on the Floor because
Why?
Because Mike is he's already done a couple of them, and
I know he
he's
has.
stayed put with that. But
simple
while I
man.
have this moment, I want to also reiterate that Empyrean Speakers
Uh-huh.
still has through January,
The end of January.
the end of January, the code to save 10% off any of the Empyrean speakers.
What is it?
That we just had on
What's the
show.
code?
The code is Guitar Knobs.
Guitar knobs, not guitar knobs and a number.
No. Oh, yeah. Guitar Knobs 10. That's right. Thanks, Tony. You were testing me, and I passed.
I don't think you did.
I got
Don't
like a
think
C
you
plus.
did.
on
I'll give
that.
you a D minus.
Yeah, I didn't fail completely. Anyways, you guys, seriously, these speakers are fantastic, and 10% may not sound a lot, but when you buy a speaker, especially if you get yourself one of those Alnico speakers,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to save you a nice chunk of change. So please take advantage of that. You will not be sorry about that. They also have the ceramic ones too. So
Yeah.
there you go. Boom. I've said my piece. All right. We need to find out what the heck is going on with Mike Trombley and Native Audio because, Mike, you're not here.
I know, and I'm so sad about that.
We
I
are sad
apologize.
about that too. But you called the other night and said, "Hey, here's the situation." So you have a recent release that looks fantastic. I'm assuming it sounds fantastic, and the reason I'm assuming is because you've had a couple things that you've been struggling with. What is the new pedal, and what have you been struggling with?
Yeah. So we released Niisoo, which is our harmonic equalizer. It's essentially really cool filter pedal, and we are transitioning to a new set of enclosures. And we released the pedal, ended up selling out, which is very awesome, and very appreciative of everyone that swooped up one. And yeah, just trying to stay above the water on getting those bad boys out.
So part of the thing was, well, you had that, and you had you sort of re-released the War Pony, and a couple other things, and so we were really excited to get our hands on those, mess around with them, but then obviously you were having a bit of an issue.
Yeah, pedals were selling.
Pedals are selling, yeah.
We couldn't, essentially we couldn't, basically all of our demo units are, kind of dinged up, and we're kind of using them. So like eventually, we're going to get a shipment off to you guys. And then I think we'll plan on popping on the show again because
Yeah,
we
for
got
sure.
a ton of fun releases this year.
So the enclosures you're talking about, what's the issue?
Well, there's not really an issue. It's just basically so our previous enclosures that we used for the last 8-10 years are the Hammond style enclosure. Well, we're switching to a new style enclosure, which is aluminum enclosure, but it's bent to a certain angle and all this other junk like that. But we are kind of going through the whole process of bending them, getting them out, and then we're just making fine tune tweaks here and there because it's a whole new enclosure, whole new, like, I don't know, just a whole new set of
a whole new process
things.
for you.
Yeah, entirely whole new set of process. So even our assembly process has completely changed. It used to just be you get the board, you drop it in, but the way our enclosures are actually set up, they're pretty intricate in a good way. Like it adds a lot of stability to not only the overall design, but like the circuit board sits in there so nice. And with the Niisoo, which kind of has a little bit more of a complex design under the hood, this works perfectly. And yeah, having a ton of fun with that.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a wider footprint. Yes?
Not necessarily.
No.
It's actually so our previous enclosures was like the Hammond style 1590 BB.
Yeah.
And so War Pony, Frybread Fuzz, those pedals were in the 1590 BB.
Yeah.
And when we switched to this new style enclosure, we kind of want to play off that a little bit. However,
the previous ones though weren't. Those are the standard size pedals.
Yeah, those were kind of like your standard one. They call them 125Bs.
Yeah.
But so this whole new setup though works perfectly because with the Hammond style stuff, like this is builder talk, but with the Hammond style stuff, like there's just a whole bunch of like kind of headaches in a sense when it comes to assembly, because like when you actually look under the hood of those, the top and bottoms kind of go at an angle. So when you design a circuit board, it has a certain height to it, and then you got to match everything like that. Whereas these new enclosures that we're using, we literally design the enclosure around the circuit board itself.
Yeah.
So it's so all that to say, we have a new enclosure, new assembly process, and
Right on.
heck yeah.
Mike, I had a question for you.
Yeah, what's up, Tim?
I mean, these pedals are cool and all, but if I wanted to make perfect fry bread, how would I go about doing that?
Do you want to make a fry bread or fry bed?
Well, I'm going to do the fry bread first.
Yeah. So head to our website, nativeaudio.com/recipes. And you can actually watch a video that I did with my grandmother, Pretty Bird Woman, where she literally showed us all the tips and tricks on how to make the perfect fry bread. I call it our like Resi Rachel Ray. And oh my gosh, we had such a blast with that. One of the coolest things about that is that we have the pedal, the Frybread Fuzz, but with that pedal on the back of it, if you actually flip around, it has her recipe, and it's set up exactly how you would normally see a recipe, ingredients, steps. However, there's a lot of things in between, like the special sauce things, and this video that is available on our website actually shows the in between, the tips and tricks, all the spicy stuff that you need to be able to make the perfect fry bread. And I think next time I'm in the shop, I think I gotta definitely bring you guys some fry bread too.
Hey, that'd be great.
I think that we actually was it 2 months ago? I did a podcast with Jungle Gyms, and listeners that aren't familiar with Jungle Gyms, it's just a food place here in Ohio, but
it's a
ridiculous.
mega store.
It's a mecca for foodies.
Yeah, and it's a very weird, wild
weird
food too.
Yeah, there was like a roller coaster around it at one point.
Oh yeah, there still is.
Is it working now?
No, so they got a transit now. Like I think they swapped it out with a roller coaster. They swapped it out for like a substation type of thing.
Oh,
so like
okay.
you can go from the parking lot to the grocery aisle.
Bizarre.
It's very bizarre. But we did a podcast. We brought fry bread and all kinds of goodies, and I think I got to do the same thing with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Now you mentioned fry bread and Pretty Bird Woman, your grandmother. For those that may not be as familiar with you, why would you be talking about fry bread and your grandmother named Pretty Bird Woman?
Yeah, one of the things that we do with Native Audio is we kind of share culture through sound. And one of the biggest things is we have this whole world of musicians, and some of the musicians, not all of them, some of them, they really enjoy effects that not only sound great, but also have a really cool story, and some that really kind of value heritage, value culture. That's what a lot of the products with Native Audio that's what we basically do.
Right.
And so each product of Native Audio kind of shares an insight, open door into Blackfeet culture, which I'm originally from the Blackfeet Nation. And products like Pretty Bird Woman, Fry Bread, each of these products showcase a little bit of my culture with the world of musicians.
Brilliant. It's
Yeah.
one of the rare things that exist out in the guitar world.
Yeah, it's really cool too, because especially in this market of guitar pedals, there's so many different awesome effects, different people sharing all kinds of different sounds, their own voice. And one of the coolest things about Native Audio is that I'm just essentially sharing my voice, my people's voice with the outside world. And it's very cool to be able to hear all of the reactions, all of the love from everyone that really kind of gets behind our mission at Native Audio.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about the Niisoo for a little bit. How shall we?
Absolutely.
Now, when you see a harmonic equalizer, that's very, very intriguing, at least
Spicy.
to this crew over here. And you've done a great job of making the actual interface very, I guess, intriguing as whoa. That just sent a bolt of electricity through our ears there. Yeah, no, it's okay. Billy's feet are cold, so he's gonna
Warm them up.
So yeah, it's very graphic in nature. Almost well, there's a handful of things in our gear culture that kind of bend this way a little bit. But can you walk us through what it does and what's how you could use it?
Yeah, so I'll start with just kind of the top layer of what the heck Niisoo is. It's a filter pedal, and you set two different filter points, and you bounce between those two different filter points. And how you approach the filter in general, Niisoo gives you a couple different options on how to interface with the filter. And what's really cool about the Niisoo is that it's kind of a unique approach to changing your sound with a filter. When we think filter, a lot of times we think, okay, equalizer with bars that you turn, you go up, down. And then also we think envelope filter. Those are kind of like where, when I hear filter, that's kind of where my mind goes initially. And what we really wanted to do with Niisoo is kind of just like pan back and just approach the filter in really cool perspective. And one of the kind of more inspirations behind Niisoo was that we kind of drew from the world of synth. And if you're familiar with like synthesizers, where like you're playing keys with one hand and your other hand's kind of tweaking and twisting and turning and kind of doing all kinds of crazy things with filters and oscillators. And so it's just a really interesting perspective or approach. And so we kind of tried to draw upon that and put that into a pedal. And that's how we ended up with Niisoo. And if you actually look at Niisoo, it doesn't necessarily have words. And one of the things that was interesting when we were creating Niisoo was that it was hard to describe really, like when we were trying to figure out like, okay, what should we name this? We just really couldn't come up with a name for each of the controls. And rather than kind of tell what that control did, we kind of just showed what that control did.
Yeah.
And I think that was the really coolest thing, because with Niisoo, there's a toggle switch on there that changes different modes. And depending on which mode you're in, it changes how the filter reacts or how it interfaces with the user. And to try to put all of these controls on a pedal was just, we'd have to tell a story for each of the controls.
Sure.
So Imagery just did a really good job at doing that. And it's really interesting too, because the imagery itself kind of, for the user, it kind of allows them to kind of make up their own interpretation of what's happening. And if you actually look at the toggles, the top set of toggles has essentially just graphs, and they're low pass, band pass, and high pass. And then when you go to the next toggle, it changes. Do we start from the bottom? Do we start from the top? Those two frequency points. And then the next one is like, how does the switch react with how I press it? And so all of these different controls really kind of just change how the user uses the pedal. And so now going back to what the heck Niisoo is, filter, 2 different points, and we use what we call the shift control to be able to bounce between those 2 different points. And there's actually the imagery is just a clock, and the clock actually adjusts how fast does it go between those 2 frequency points that I set. And that clock can actually go from immediate, which is 0, all the way up to 20 seconds. So
does that mean it's going to act a little bit like a phaser or a flanger kind of thing? Like
not necessarily.
Well, rhythmically going in and out of those points that you have set?
Yeah. So if you actually set the time to like around like say like 500 milliseconds or like 200 milliseconds, and you're constantly pressing the shift, you'll actually kind of get a phase shifting sound because you're going between those 2 different frequency points.
Right.
And so one of the coolest things with this is if you switch it to bandpass mode, which bandpass is typically associated with like wall pedals.
Yeah.
And if you actually like a wah pedal is essentially a bandpass with a really high resonance or a Q or a quack.
Right.
And if you on Niisoo, one of the middle controls is resonance. So if you bring down resonance all the way to 0, but you still keep it in bandpass mode, and you change your frequency points kind of to the lower end of the spectrum, the audio spectrum, you end up getting a really nice swooshy phaser type of sound. And this is actually emphasized when you plug in an expression control, because this is like the first native audio pedal that's ever included an expression pedal, which just literally opens this pedal up even more. And when you plug the expression in, now what you can do is you're able to set the toe and the heel of that expression using the lower bound and the upper bound of that. And the lower bound and the upper bound are what we kind of designate as frequency point 1 and frequency point 2. And so in your case, what you're talking about with a phaser, flanger type of sound, you can get that type of sound if you either plug an expression or you're kind of riding the shift control because you're bouncing between those 2 frequency points. Yeah.
Well, as usual, you have a lot going on with a relatively simple-looking pedal.
Yeah.
And this is kind of neat because it seems like it's doing an awful lot of things, especially with the shift capability. Because otherwise, it would be on par with like a parametric kind of EQ or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what you can do too. So like, say you don't want to do all the jazzy kind of bouncy shifty stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to just use this as an EQ, you can, because
you're not in your Zappa cover band is what you're saying.
Pretty much. Yeah. And what we ended up doing with this is the insides actually use voltage controlled amplifiers, VCAs. Again, just kind of a nod to the whole synth culture. And the way we set those up, though, are to act like filters. And these are, it's actually, if you want to get nerdy about it, it's a 4-pole filter. So it's a really steep filter. And one of the coolest things that we do with the Niisoo that you can do is you can run this before or after your drives. So for example, like I got Fry Bread Fuzz. Fry Bread Fuzz is sick. I love it. But sometimes depending on like certain pickups, it might sound a little too beefy or, got a little too much low end, and maybe your amplifier is kind of really emphasizing that low end. Mm-hmm. Well, what you can do is you can set Niisoo before Fry Bread Fuzz, and then you can set Niisoo on the high cut mode, or not high cut, low cut mode, mm-hmm. or high pass mode, and essentially cut the low frequencies off, so you can trim that all the way to what you kind of enjoy flavor wise. And how this is different than your standard like tone control on like say your Tube Screamer is that typically those are kind of like 1-pole, 2-pole filters, and Niisoo's 4-pole filter. So that's a steeper cutoff. So you're really kind of dialing in the highs and the lows. So this is like a really cool tone shaping tool.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you ventured out into some of the other effects that, almost getting into utility kind of things. I know that this is actually effect that will greatly change the way your sounds are coming through, but it's not a step on and then you get an overdrive or a reverb or a chorus or some kind of other modulation. Is kind of cool to hear.
One of the coolest thing, like, I guess, like, I mean, I can go on and on about Niisoo and like the controls, but really cool, like, different, I guess, perspective that we've experienced with that's kind of different than our normal set of native audio pedals is post-production. So we're actually dropping a demo here in a couple weeks. We just closed it up, but we took a whole 4-track player and essentially recorded a whole set of different songs, and we actually ran those through Niisoo in post and then fed it back into the tape recorder. And what you end up getting is a cool kind of post-production type of filter. Like, I mean, you literally, like, in certain parts of songs, maybe like the drums kind of got too much low end, maybe that bass is kind of like buzzing. You can clean that up. Maybe the highs from the cymbals are kind of a little too sizzly. I'll switch to low pass and then just cut out a lot of that sizzle. And so it's really kind of those situations that we're really finding that, like, Niisoo's really applicable, like, beyond just throwing this on your pedal and getting a quacky wah type of sound.
Yeah. Well, tell us what Niisoo, obviously that's from your language. What does that mean? Absolutely.
Yeah. So Niisoo is the number 4. And Niisoo, the story about Niisoo actually comes from the 4 seasons and what the 4 seasons meant to the Blackfeet. And as I tell these seasons, I mean, they pretty much closely relate to, like, your non-Blackfeet. But really what I wanted to do is just kind of showcase what the heck Blackfeet's, these seasons meant to us. And so the season spring, which is the green color on Niisoo. Like, Niisoo actually has 4 different colors for your viewers that might not actually see the pedal, but yes. Niisoo is white and it has 4 different colors. It's green, red, orange, and blue. And if you start from the beginning, you have green, and green is new beginnings. And that's essentially what spring was to the Blackfeet. It's just a time of refreshing. And the red is summer. And summer was a time that we finally moved away from the mountains onto the plains, because the Blackfeet, our location was towards the glacier area. And so we actually moved from the mountains out to the plains. And this is where we picked berries. We kind of really just roamed the plains, kind of hanging out, enjoying the heat. Then what you end up moving towards is orange, and orange is fall, or the time of gathering. And this is where we hunted elk, buffalo. We got ready for the winter seasons that were coming along. And next, when we moved to blue on the Niisoo, this is the final color. This is the 4th color. And during this time, blue is actually when we moved from the plains back up to the mountains. And this is a time that we all went back into our lodges, into our teepees. And this is a time of learning. This is where you essentially had one-on-one time with your kids, with the elders. And this is where we shared stories. And it was really just a time of learning. So what I wanted to do was just take the essence of those 4 seasons and share that in a pedal form. And that's where we got Niisoo. But even more than what those 4 colors are, if you actually pan back and you look at Niisoo as a whole, Niisoo's designed to look like a blanket. Mm-hmm. And blankets in Blackfeet culture were a sign of utility, a sign of help. And so in Blackfeet culture, when we would gift, what we would do is when we'd have ceremonies and different sort of special events, even now, like when I had my college graduations, like I was gifted a lot of blankets from family members.
That's awesome.
And essentially what the blanket was is back in Blackfeet culture, the blanket was seen as a tool. The blanket was seen as something because back in those times, the seasons were heavy. The winter was chaotic. We didn't have the housing like we do now. And so that blanket was seen as a necessity. Mm-hmm. And so when you give somebody a blanket, you're really giving them a source of life. And that's kind of still carried on to this day, that these blankets mean a lot, but also the blankets, when they were gifted, they usually have different colors, and those different colors are a representation of a story. And so with Niisoo, one of the biggest things that I wanted to do with the pedal itself is to be able to gift people this tool. And you kind of mentioned it when you said Niisoo is kind of like a utility type of thing. And that's where I think the story kind of really tied into like what the heck Niisoo really did, is that, yes, it's an effect, but it's really designed to be a tool that's applicable to a wide range of musicians.
Yeah. We just looked up Blackfeet blankets. Wow.
Oh,
those are
nice.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really, really cool stuff. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. It's always interesting. Whenever we have you on, we dip into that in some way or another because it's inherent to what you do. And we're not, we always learn a little something, which I love. That's great.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude, like one of the coolest things about doing native audio is like, I had this conversation, my cousin, his name's Jesse DeRozier. I'm sure you've probably seen it on the socials and everywhere on our website. We did a whole thing where we released War Pony, and we actually had a Blackfeet artist, which was my relative, Jesse DeRozier. He runs an institution, a school that is keeping our Blackfeet language alive.
Right.
And he's one of the instructors there. He can speak fluent Blackfeet. He's one of my go-tos regarding making sure that all of our material is exactly what it's supposed to be, right? With the language and everything. So he runs this institution, this school, and they are general education, but they do it in the language of the Blackfeet. So, which is a really cool concept, because back in 95, there was literally 0 children that could speak our language. And so back in 95, one of the coolest things that they ended up doing, or that the person that started that company, was they wanted to revitalize our language. And so native audio, that just kind of fits with what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep our culture alive. So we teamed up with Jesse, and then we ended up doing a whole thing, and we sat down when I went back home to Montana this past summer. We sat down, I kind of did like a little interview, one-on-one interview, and man, we just sharing the stories. And so I come at native audio, like it might sound like I know what the heck I'm talking about. Like I'm literally still a learner in not only the engineering side of things, but even my own culture. So I really do count it as a blessing. What we do with native audio is every day I feel like I'm learning something more about my culture, and it's just a really cool experience to be able to share that with people like you who are really open to learning more about it.
Right on,
so
man.
I thank you, dude. I appreciate you, man.
You bet. Well, I'm just gonna hit that button just one more time real quick, because you didn't share this last time, but it looks like you have set up a scholarship, a STEM scholarship.
Yeah, Pretty Bird Woman Scholarship.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
super, super cool.
Yes,
cool.
This is going to be our 3rd year that we're going to be doing the Pretty Bird Woman Scholarship. The first year we ended up having a student in microbiology who's wanting to do pharmacy and kind of change the whole narrative on Indian medicine and kind of like what the pharmaceutical world does to our native people. And then they also had another young lady that wanted to be able to kind of continue her studies in dance and incorporate more of our native dance in kind of more modern contemporary dance. And so you have really cool kids that are coming out of the Blackfeet Nation that are like really wanting to kind of change, I guess not even change, but like just kind of like take our culture and just kind of continue to kind of share it. Exactly what native audio is doing.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to see that. And so like we at Native Audio, what we ended up doing is 2 years ago, I wanted to kind of give back to my community. And we started, I got in contact with the school, and now we're basically just on their donor list. Every year we donate to them, and we give out two scholarships, one to creative arts, the other to a STEM. And because those two things, even though they cover a wide range, it's Native Audio. We're music, we're engineering. And so it's a really cool way to just kind of get back to the community. But yeah, it's great, man.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Heck yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff. It's like when you're able to pick up a piece of gear that you already want, but are able to choose a company that's making it that is so far doing so far beyond what the actual effect is, or the pedal does, or like, hey, this is cool. It's inspiring. It's feel good stuff. We need that so bad in the world right now. So I'm glad you're out there doing that, man.
Thank you, man.
Now you have some stuff coming up. You're building, yes.
Yeah, we do, and I can't wait to share it with you.
Yes. Which means I can't say anything about it right now. I know, I'm familiar. 400 episodes. We know what that means.
Now, Todd, we seriously, I got to get in there, and we got to make some noise together.
I love it. Let's make it happen, man. Well, Mikey, we know you also have a beautiful little girl that you have. I don't know if she's asleep yet, but you probably at least want to go check on her. So we're gonna round third and head home here. How about that?
Hey, that sounds good.
Okay. What's her name?
Riverlyn. Yep.
Riverlyn.
Riverlyn Trombley.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Okay. Tony. He had to get a throat lozenge, so it doesn't sound like.
me. That's right, Todd, because at this point of the show is a special game that we like to play called Would You Rather,
yes.
Mr. President?
Okay, what do we got? I sent you a good one.
This week's Would You Rather. I have to open it up on my phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a thinker one, guys, I believe.
It's a thinker. I had the fortune of knowing it in advance, so we'll give you a little extra time to think about things.
Okay.
So this comes from our good friend Mike Nazionale. Hey, it's amore. Mm-hmm. First of all, he wishes everybody a happy new year. Especially Todd.
Happy New Year.
Everybody.
Happy New Year to one and all.
Likewise.
So he goes on to say, I have another suggestion for Would You Rather. He says, the Super Bowl is approaching, and he puts a little side note in there. Yeah, Bengals, and then R.I.P. Browns.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the playoffs, so I thought of another type of playoff.
Okay.
By we're, I'm guessing he's a Bengals fan.
Sure.
You see how that works?
Except they're not in the playoffs.
Keep going. This is a long one.
It's a long one, so here it goes. Each year at about this time, imagine if you will, each year about this time, there is a playoff of two pentatonic teams, each having 5 guitar gods. Yeah, that plays in with the penta.
Gods.
You get that? Mm-hmm. And they play a Hall of Fame Bowl.
Okay.
You see where this is going?
Mm-hmm. No, but we'll get there.
Okay. So the reigning championship team has never been slashed out of competition. Its gods are Jeff Beck,
Okay.
Richie Blackmore,
All right.
and B.B. King,
All right.
Tony Iommi,
Okay.
and Jimmy Page.
All right.
Okay? So that's what you're up against.
Okay.
He says, yes, they're all legends, but it's up to you to assemble your dream team of pentagods. Who is on your team? So you got to...
All right.
You
So
need-
we
you need
need
5
to pick 5 guitar gods to take down
Jeez.
those ones.
And I think we got, well, but with Mike, that makes 5 with the 4 of us here.
Oh,
so
boy.
we could take all those guys on.
Yeah, this is no problem.
So
This is
let
no
me
brainer.
ask this. Let's do a little housekeeping. Are each one of us going to
Yes.
have 5,
Yes.
or are we okay?
Yes.
So we're not each contributing 1, and then collectively ours goes. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like would you rather have my team or your team or this guy's team over here?
Yeah.
So you want to pick, let's just say it's your 5 dream team guitar players that you think
To take down
take down
the Pantheon.
the Pantheon?
Yeah.
How about the Pentathlon?
No.
No.
The Pantheon
Like the one
is the, they're up there.
Oh, they're up there.
Yes.
You see. So, you're going up against, again, Jeff Beck,
Yes.
Richie Blackmore,
Yes.
B.B. King,
Yep.
Tony Iommi,
Yep.
and Jimmy Page.
Yes. I already knew this one, so I'm going to actually go first to give you guys a minute. Okay?
I can go first, too.
You can go first. You go first. You
Okay.
always go first. That's good. Let's keep that.
We'll keep that thing going.
Yeah.
So, here's what I'm thinking. I thought short and long about and hard about this, about the who I was going to do.
Right.
And I tried to think of people that could be in maybe the same vein on some, in some different veins. So here's my dream team.
Do it.
And you're going to laugh, but...
Okay.
So my number 1 team leader is Mr. Joe Bonamassa.
Okay. I considered him.
I considered him, and I put him on my list.
Yes.
My number 2 guy, Paul Gilbert.
Oof. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think he could smoke those other 5 guys pretty easily, but, we'll see. Number 3 guy, Vernon Reed, Living Color. No? You don't like him?
I'm not saying anything.
It's not on your list. Number 4, John McLaughlin.
I'm not saying anything.
And the reason he came to mind for me is Jeff Beck had once called John McLaughlin the greatest guitar player ever.
Okay.
So I said, Jeff's going to see him there.
Sure.
He's going to, I don't know. And finally, Robert Fripp.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't put Zappa in there. I mean,
I don't want
eclectic list in there.
But I don't want to go. I'll refrain from commenting on Zappa.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You have yours. Go.
Well, no, I'm going to let you go because I feel like I've heard the 5 names listed off half a dozen times now, but it feels like there's one really big name that's omitted from that list, and you didn't say it in yours. So maybe I didn't. Can you go through the 5 that we are
Jeff
competing
Beck,
against?
Richie Blackmore, Tony Iommi, Jimmy Page, and
B.B. King.
B.B. King.
Okay, so I mean, I'm going to start with the gigantic pink elephant in the room.
Okay.
I mean, what about Jimi Hendrix? Would
Sure.
probably
Is that
be
your
pretty
list?
high up on
Is
the
that
list.
your
Is that on your list?
It is on my list.
Well,
I was
read your
just
list.
okay. So, and like I feel like I'm going to concede that 3 of these are probably the same person. So Jimi Hendrix, John Frusciante, and Mike McCready would be like 1, 2, and 3 for me.
Okay.
Mike is like, that's mine.
So I'm
You
going
picked his hero.
I thought about, after I had my list of 5, I went back and I put Mark Knopfler on there. And then I'm going to throw one completely out of left field, probably for many of the people in this room and maybe even listening to this, Lindsay Troy from Deep Valley. Just to get like kind of the dark horse in there. She's one of my favorite kind of newer guitarists and has just a very interesting style and tone. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Right on. Billy?
Well, I'm going a totally different direction here. You guys are, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of shredders and classic, guitar players. I'm going with the team guys, like Billy Zoom
Ah.
from X, Terry Kath from Chicago, Pete Anderson with the Dwight Yoakam,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
John Fogerty, of course, with CCR, and a Native American, Link Ray.
All right. Interesting. Yeah, that fits. That's
a good
That's on
idea.
point.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mike?
Goodness, guys. Okay. Well, so since I can't use John Frusciante,
Well, you can.
No,
you
we
can.
can. Yeah,
Oh,
we
5
can
times?
double down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So again, let's see. Jimi Hendrix, of course, and I got. These are just all really just variations of Jimi Hendrix. So Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, John Frusciante, also George Benson,
Ooh.
and
little jazzy.
yeah, and then I'll do another John Frusciante.
Okay.
Like
John Frusciante for 200.
yeah. First time through and then second time through. Right?
Yeah.
I
what-
don't think
How about
I don't think I
Flea?
can do
Come
a
on.
Guitar Knobs podcast without talking about John Frusciante.
Yeah.
It's literally been every episode.
Yes, it's true. Okay, so first of all, I want to make note of maybe the biggest
Oversight.
oversight that is not on, I didn't include on my list purposely.
Okay. Point it out.
David Gilmour?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, meh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan, so
You don't
let's
have to
let's
be.
start
This isn't
from
about
there.
the band.
I understand.
It's about the man, not the band.
Well, but is it though?
Yeah. And I got proof right here.
Okay, we're
Here's my list. And now I'm thinking I don't want somebody like more notes don't count. Right? But I want a group of people that bring big color. Okay? Dave Navarro,
That's a good one.
Troy Van Leeuwen,
Okay.
Okay.
Mick Ronson,
I forgot about Mick.
Billy Corgan,
Okay.
Yeah.
and Ace MFN Freely.
Did he change his name?
Yes, it's official. Yeah, that's my list because I'm like, go boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would
No,
that would be
that's-
quite enjoyable.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
the color guard. Yes,
I like that.
Wow.
I like that. Everybody had a good
That
list.
was yeah. I mean,
I think
there's not
it was a good-
there's not a stinker in there,
No.
Nice.
except for some of Tony's. But anyways,
See,
What about Oasis?
yeah,
Yeah. What about Oasis?
That's not on there. All due
Noel.
respect, this is a different thing. Yes. Okay. Well, Tony, we need to thank a few people here.
That is correct, Todd, because at this point of the show, there's a special group of people we love to thank.
And we need to say thanks to Mike Natzinale for that great Would You Rather.
I believe that I did thank him.
I'm doubly doing it.
Well, that's nice of you because it's the right thing to do. And in fact, two of the people that we have to thank or like to thank are in this room with us right now.
And
So they get double bonus
Double duty.
thank yous. And double duty.
duties.
Duty. He said duty. So, an executive producer. What is an executive producer? You may be asking yourself. Well, let me tell you. An executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one of these executive producers? That was my kind of James T. Kirk doing the
Is it like
syllable.
being an enabler?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. So, if you go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs, you will find a couple levels in which you can participate. Participate? Yes, you can do that too. And become a friend, a hero, a sponsor of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts. Oh, yes, we do.
And we give away all kinds of stuff.
And you
I
qualify
got another big one coming.
instantly
Yeah.
for special giveaways.
That's correct.
As Todd alluded to. But in addition to all that great stuff, there's one thing more. What is that one thing? I will translate. You get to have your name read on the thing. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers. I had to clear my throat, sorry. John Sebastian, Trevor Ellenberg, Cameron Pampas, James Bell, Brett Hogarth, Don Kloss, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Rusty Sneeden, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Richard Kendall, James White, Justin Jones, John Esterly
Yay.
from your effects.
Oh my gosh.
That was a special one for you.
Yeah.
Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazin, Eric Merrow, Plutone, Michael Davenport, and Todd.
Yes.
We have a new executive producer
That is
this week
correct. Very excited about this.
by the name of Owen Eads.
Yes. Welcome, welcome, Owen. We're so glad that you decided to join this merry group of goons.
Band of Merrymen.
Yes.
Like Robin Hood's gang.
Yes.
So let's give a special thanks to these grand poobahs.
Yes.
You know, I would be remiss to say that over the past couple of episodes, we have neglected to mention a very special Grand Poobah.
This is correct. Somehow got slipped up,
It's mostly
and
Todd's
it's our
fault.
bad.
Mostly
Considering
Todd's
he's
fault.
been in the family for a long time.
He has been. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Martin Cliff, out in Bucharest, Romania. And what is that last word?
Salute.
Salute.
That's hello in Romanian.
Oh,
So there. Now we all learned a little something else.
Is it?
that's I know.
Okay.
I know it was
I
on
mean,
on Hee Haw. Salute.
I don't have enough information to
that's
contradict
different.
that. So
I do my homework.
Well, Martin, again, sincere apologies. It wasn't on my list, and I feel absolutely horrible about it. In addition to Martin Cliff, Anthony Gemolero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited. He's sitting right there. Bob Crouch, Brian Robinson, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Hex Matos, James Pennington, John Williams, LSJ Music Company, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars.
He's in the next episode.
Yes, I've heard that. Paul Von Eppinger, Sam Jet, Steve, Keys, Tyler, Casey Rhines, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wound Pickups. He's feeling a little sick, a little under the weather, but he's going to get back on his feet in no time at all.
Good.
Pedro Vasquez, Gregory Randall, and of course, Mike Nazionale.
All right. Pegging the meters.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to say thank you to Mike Trombley of Native Audio so much for being on our show again. This is as much your show as it is ours, man.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it.
Where can people go to get this new pedal, and what are the circumstances therein?
nativeaudio.com, and just keep an eye out on Instagram, Native Audio. What is it? Yeah, just Native Audio.
Right. So you're going to have some releases. You're on back order. How's that going?
Yeah, so just head to nativeaudio.com and then just sign up for our email list, and you'll literally be the first person to know anything.
That's
that
the
drops.
ticket, the email list. Get on it.
Absolutely.
And check out the recipe for the fry bread.
Yep.
nativeaudio.com/recipes.
Okay, perfect. Tony.
You head over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do. I make custom pick guards for guitars. How do you get one? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need, what you're trying to do. I'll make something very special for you. That's what I do.
Yes.
It's your chance. Or is it opportunity? It's your opportunity to make your guitar even more yours.
That is correct. Billy.
Yeah. Billy Spitfire Unlimited on Facebook. Billy Spitfire on Instagram. And also check out my band's Mathematics, punk band, and Rolling Stones cover band called The Flynns.
There you go. John.
So Rare Buzzer ER everywhere, website and social media. We'll plug. So the name is out. NVIDIA will be dropping on February 5th. So 2525. More information coming very, very soon. So follow us on Instagram. Get signed up for that mailing list.
Excellent. You can shoot me a message on Instagram at Guitar Knobs. We'd love to hear from you. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be out at NAMM. So if you're out at NAMM and you would like to just meet up, say hi, shake hands, give a high five, do whatever you need, throw something at Rob, because he'll be with me, not Tony, then please do so. We'd love to hear from you. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun one. Mike, we really appreciate what you're doing out there. We appreciate you. And have a fantastic guitar week, everybody, and subscribe!
Woo!
Yep.
That's how it's done.
Yay.
Yep. Call me in another 400.
But Todd, I was just thinking. There's another.
First time for everything.
Hey, I have a question. What would Robin Hood play? What kind of guitar? What would he
Next.
rob and then play?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
excessive.
You better bleep that out.
Wait, let me get into character. And action.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm following them. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Where's their food truck?
So it travels. So they are off of like South Innis.
Where's their food truck?
No, I mean, where
It's a
does
truck.
I'm sorry, Mike. My sincere apologies.
Yes.
You have to understand, I'm a professional, and when Todd throws me for these types of things,
gosh. I
it just
pointed at
I'm
something.
very upset.
You-
Tony, I know how professional you are, dude.
Thank you.
I get you, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Amateur hour.
all
He
right.
didn't say you were. He just knows how professional you were.
I know how professional you could be.
All
All
right.
right, let me clap. Let me clap. Here we go. Fine.
Okay.
Mike,
Can you hear me?
now we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're good.
Okay.
You got to put another quarter in the internet box there, or what?
Dude, you're telling me. Yep.
All you had to do is ask or answer the question.
Yeah.
I took a picture.
I don't care about your damn picture.
Whoa.
It's just a cat.
Tony's coming in hot, Mike.
Yeah. We this week we're transitioning from crib to bed. So that's been a whole journey.
What's the baby doing?
Yeah.
Yo ho and a bottle of rum.
I don't know. I changed my mind. I don't want to do a podcast tonight.
Okay. That's how this is going to be all night, isn't it?
Like what?
Like that.
Because I have people I have to entertain here.
Right.
See, when it's just you and me, I'm very calm. But now when I got my buddy Billy and my buddy John,
Yeah.
and so I got to show off a little bit.
Okay.
'Cause they need to know who's really in charge of this podcast.
Okay. Ready? Mike, I'm sorry for whatever happens.
Okay.
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.